What if I told you that the flight search method that you're using right now is costing you hundreds of dollars every single time you travel? Most people overlook these 7 underrated strategies when using Google Flights to find cheap flights. And as a result, you're probably not seeing the cheapest options available. For example, the first Google Flights trick is a little bit counterintuitive because you're not gonna actually search for your final destination. For the sake of example, let's say that you want to go to Chicago to Venice, Italy for a vacation in the summer, and the dates that you can go are, I'm just doing one way just for the sake of example to make it simpler, but let's say that you have to leave on July 15th. So it's saying here that the price is $563 for a one-way ticket. But the thing is, this isn't the best way to search for transatlantic or trans-Pacific flights. Instead, you'll want to go and put in your home airport and then hit this Explore tab up here at the top. And so here we have Chicago, and instead of putting in your exact destination, we're gonna put Europe, the whole continent of Europe. And here we're gonna put your date. You're not flexible in dates in this case, and so we're gonna put your date as July 15. Done. So let's see what comes up. So now here are all the prices, the cheapest prices on July 15th to get over to Europe. And you can see very quickly that London is the outlay here, way cheaper, $216. If you were to fly from Chicago to London, then you could buy another budget airline cheap flight and get all the way to Venice. I bet you way cheaper than what the price said here, which was $563. So let's compare it. To get to London, we have $216. And now to go from London to Venice on July 15 it was, looks like it's $72. Now, as you can see, there's one caveat here. It's $72, but it's without luggage. And so you have to pay a little bit extra luggage. But even if you paid extra for luggage, 72 plus luggage, if you don't have that much luggage, plus 216 is still several $100s less than 563. The next trick is while you're searching for these flights, if you're going in a group, it's usually best to search for the flights one person at a time. The reason for this is because when you search for a group, the airlines price it so that everyone's ticket is the same price, and they have different seat buckets when they price the flights. Just for example, let's say they have 10 seats that are at the cheapest price bucket, and then they have another 10 seats that are a little bit more expensive, and so on. And so if there's only 2 of the cheapest seats left and you're booking for 4 people, it's not going to give you those 2 cheapest seats. It's going to book all 4 of you for the next level up. But if you search one person at a time, then you can first fill in those cheaper seat buckets, and then you only have to pay a couple of your tickets that are in the more expensive bucket. The downside and risk of this, obviously, is that you'll all be on separate tickets and itineraries, and so if there's delays or cancellations or things like that, you might run into issues. For example, if the airline has to rebook everybody, they're not obligated to rebook all of you on the same flight, which would kind of suck. But a trick to get around this is after you book your separate individual flights, you could call up the airline and ask them to link them together. If you're finding this video useful so far, give it a like so it gets shown to more travelers like you. Okay, so let's get back into Google Flights. So one of the most powerful features of Google Flights compared to any other search engine is that you can see the specific prices for 2 months at the same time. And it's really easy to click through and see which dates are the cheapest dates compared to a lot of other sites where you can only see 1 week at a time and you have to keep clicking next and back, and it's really hard to compare. The catch is this only works if you know how to use this calendar feature properly, which many people don't. And I'll get to some common mistakes in a second that make this feature pretty much useless. But first I want to show you how you can use Google Flights combined with another tool to squeeze out the cheapest price possible, plus this new feature that Google Flights came out with that's super helpful. And to do that, let's pretend we're flying from New York and we want to go to Paris. And right away down here, this is kind of a new section that Google came out with, and you can see that it will tell you exactly what the cheapest round trip and one-way flight are. In this case, it's 383 and 164, and exactly what dates they are. And so this is super helpful if you're flexible on your dates and you just want to find the cheapest times to fly. So here it says from May 1 to May 8 are the cheap dates, and so let's just test it out to see. May 1 to May 8. Look, same price. So that's super useful. And If you don't have flexibility on your flights, you can scroll down a little bit further and see that here it gives you some historical data on the cheapest and most expensive times to fly and what the normal ranges are to fly during those months. And so you can see obviously here during December holidays, it can be way more expensive. And then here it kind of varies a little bit based on summer vacations, a little bit higher. Right after summer vacations, a little bit lower. And so you can kind of get an idea of what normal prices are. So let's just use these dates as an example to see if I can beat this price that Google Flights gives me, which is $383. And so if we go to another tool called Momondo, I did the same exact search, New York to Paris, from May 1st to May 8th, and it's loading again. You can see that it found a cheaper price. And the reason it found a cheaper price is because you're booking through this third-party platform, which has extra risks. And in this case, it's just savings of a few dollars, and so I personally wouldn't do it. But sometimes, especially if you're talking about more expensive tickets, the difference can be pretty big, and in that case, it might be worth the risk. The risk being that if there's any cancellations or delays, or if you need to change your flight, you have to deal with the third party, this booking site, Momondo, or these other ones I'm gonna show you, instead of directly with the airlines, which can be a lot more hassle. But if you know for sure that you're gonna take this trip on this exact dates and you don't need flexibility, you won't need to change anything, and the savings are substantial, then you might wanna do this. But just for fun, let's check out the other most common booking sites to see how they compare. Here we have Kayak. I did the exact same search and let's see what they come up with. Looks like Kayak is giving me the same price as Momondo, and you gotta be careful here because this first result isn't necessarily the cheapest price. I know the difference isn't that much right here, but you gotta be careful not to just trust the first one because you can see that this is actually an ad. And so always make sure to pay attention to things like that. And for giggles, let's also check out Skyscanner. The same flight, I already looked it up and it is $379, and here you're booking through booking.com. The other ones you're going through eDreams, and here you're doing another third party, booking.com. I personally have booked through booking.com before and everything went okay, but other people have had bad experiences with third parties, and so it's always up to you if you want to take the risk. There's also one scenario where none of these sites will give you the cheapest prices possible, but before I get to that, I just want to say that if you can't be bothered to search through all these sites and do all these different steps to spend hours searching for the cheapest flight possible, the easy mode alternative to doing this would be to sign up for a newsletter like Going or Daily Drop Pro. They have experts scouring the internet every day, and they'll find the absolute cheapest flights and airfares personalized to your home airport that you set and the destinations you're interested in. Then they send all these directly to your email inbox, and so you don't have to do any searching yourself, and they'll show you exactly how to buy and where to buy the cheapest flights step by step. Each of these newsletters has a free version that I'll link to below that will send you a limited amount of deals so you can just test it out. And I'll test both of them out just to see which one you like better because they each offer a little bit different features. I know some people love this process and love searching for flights, but other people dread it, and so this would be for the people who just get overwhelmed the second that they think about buying flights. Okay, so here's a couple common mistakes that you might be making with Google Flights that'll make it way harder to find the cheapest flights for your dates. I actually made this mistake a couple seconds ago to see if anyone would notice. To show you what I mean, let's say that you want to fly from Detroit, Michigan to Cali, Colombia, where I am right now, because you want to go out salsa dancing with me. And let's say you're searching for the cheapest day to go, and you see here this green mark. It says 536, and that's the cheapest day that month. So you click on that month, and then you click your return date, assuming that that's the cheapest date. Click done, click search. The problem here is that on this calendar view, you have to set how many days your trip is here before you determine which day is the cheapest day, because it changes based on the number of days you're flying. So if you're only going on a 3-day trip, for example, you can see right now the 20th isn't the cheapest date anymore. Now it would be the 13th, for example. And so to do this, you first have to make your original search on the first page, and then you have to go back into the calendar here, and you can adjust the number of days. So then you can find which is the cheapest one for your length of trip. Another big mistake that people use with this calendar view and Google Flights in general is they forget to add how much luggage they're planning on taking, and that will affect the prices as well. For example, if you have 0 luggage, you can see here that Spirit is the cheapest option, and when you're looking at the calendar view, it's going to say this is the cheapest price and the cheapest days, but then when you get to Spirit and you add in your luggage, it might end up being more expensive than a different airline that has luggage included. That's why it's always a good idea to add the number of luggage you have here. I'm not sure why it's not showing the checked bags, but you can see here when I added 1 bag, Spirit is still cheaper, even with that 1 bag, but that's not always the case. Sometimes another airline will become the cheapest airline. But let's say you can't stand the idea of flying on Spirit Airlines and you want something more comfortable, or for whatever reason you don't want to fly certain airlines, you want to always uncheck them here from this list, because this also is going to update the prices on the 2-month calendar view, because it's going to take away Spirit Airlines. And so now the cheapest day to fly might be a different day because you're not looking at all the same airlines. And so basically what I'm saying is, on this first travel page here, this isn't where you want to judge which the cheapest dates are. You want to first run a search, and then once you get into this section, then add all of your filters that you want, how many bags you have, what airlines you want to be included and not included, and then how long your trip is going to be, the dates of your trip. And then after you add in all the filters, then you can see which are the cheapest days to fly based on your criteria, because if you don't put the criteria in first, it's not going to give you what you want. By the way, I created a cheat sheet with other ways to cut your travel costs in half, and I'll link that below for free. I know this video is about how to find the cheapest flights on Google Flights, but you can't always trust Google Flights and those other flight sites to get the cheapest prices possible. That's because not every single airline around the world, especially budget airlines, are registered on these sites. So if you're doing a flight search here, you may not even realize that some of these other airlines exist. One quick way to check is to just do a Google search for budget airlines in whatever country you happen to be in at the time. Or another way that I found is going to this website, kayak.com/direct. A lot of times they'll have most of the airlines listed here. Right now it's showing all these different airlines that are leaving from the closest airport to me. Another thing you have to be careful about when in Google Flights is where you're looking for the cheapest flight. For example, I typed in a search here, Cali, Colombia, where I am, to Ipiales, which is another city in Colombia, and here we have the results. It says that these are the top flights, $60. You can search, you can keep going down and see more flight options if you want to. They just keep going up. But if you trust this, you could be missing something, because I don't know why they do this, but if you click over to cheapest, you can see that there's other flight options, and you might assume that these cheapest options are going to be ones that have super crappy layovers or tons of connections. But as you can see here, that's not always the case. Here's a budget airline in Colombia, and it's a 1-hour nonstop flight for $43, whereas the best flights that Google gave you over on this other tab was a 3-hour and 50-minute flight for $60. So before you buy a flight, make sure to always first check over on this cheapest tab. Sometimes there'll be way worse flights, but sometimes there'll be actually good flights there. Learning how to search for cheap flights on Google Flights can save you a lot of money, but really you're leaving money on the table if you don't have an overall strategy for the techniques to buying cheap flights. Like, how far in advance should you buy your flight? Or should you use incognito mode? Or should you use a VPN? Or all these other little mechanics. And I cover all of these in this video next, so make sure to watch it before you buy your next flight. All right guys, like, subscribe, do the things. Love you, bye-bye.